Our focus tonight is going to be Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to the United States of America. And these are the first visuals that we are bringing for our viewers. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has arrived in Philadelphia. His plane has landed, and there you can see the Indian diaspora, members of the Indian diaspora waiting to welcome Prime Minister Narendra Modi in the United States of America. Remember, he is on a 3-day visit to the US, and there are a lot of engagements lined up over the next 3 days. And there you can see first visuals of Philadelphia that we are getting for you. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has arrived in the US, and there you have the Indian diaspora, the members of the Indian community waiting to welcome Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Now, this is going to be his 8th visit as the Indian Prime Minister to the United States of America, and because it comes just few days ahead of the big US election, it becomes even more important. And as we continue to bring you the latest updates from there, let's quickly tell you about the engagements that are lined up for Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Here's what his itinerary is looking like over the next 3 days. Firstly, that's 21st of September. It's going to be the Quad Summit. That's going to be very, very important. Remember, Quad, a group of 4 nations, including India, US, and Australia and Japan. And the leaders of all 4 countries are going to meet. The summit will focus on regional security and the Indo-Pacific strategy specifically. So this is the most important thing as far as this 3-day visit to the US is concerned that we'll be keeping an eye on. Then on September 22nd, the diaspora and CEO engagements are very important. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be addressing the Indian American community there, and then he's going to have a business roundtable with the big CEOs. He's going to have a business meeting. The event is very, very important. It's going to be an opportunity to strengthen the economic ties and attract investment. That's going to be focus number 2 on 22nd of September, engagement with global leaders in bilateral discussions. So apart from this Quad meeting, he's also going to have one-on-one bilateral meetings with the leaders of the nations from the Quad. Now, on 23rd of September, there is going to be a summit that PM is going to participate in. That is the UNGA summit, Summit for the Future. Now, this becomes very, very important as well. And then Prime Minister Modi to address UN in New York. That's the engagement for 23rd of September. And it begins soon after he has landed in the United States of America. The first thing to look forward is going to be the Quad Summit. And as far as the UN Summit is concerned, that's going to address pressing future global challenges. And that is going to be important as well on 23rd of September. Let's now go across to Malvika, who is joining us live from the United States of America. She's standing outside, I believe, the hotel where Prime Minister Narendra Modi is going to stay during his 3-day visit. Malvika, we are seeing visuals of excitement as far as the Indian community is concerned in the US. Tell us firstly, you've been speaking to a lot of them. Tell us firstly, what are they expecting as Prime Minister Modi has already reached there?
Well, Modi has actually created a lot of excitement and euphoria amongst the diaspora in the US. So each time that he comes here, there are high expectations from his visits, and this visit is no different. As far as the Quad Summit is concerned, several key announcements are expected, and we are seeing a lot of enthusiasm amongst the members of the diaspora. A cultural show has been planned for Prime Minister Modi. He is going to be arriving at the DuPont Hotel here in Wilmington in another 10 minutes or so. After that, he will be attending the cultural show where members of the diaspora will be present. And then he is going to head to President Joe Biden's residence for the Quad Summit, where he is going to be meeting Joe Biden and the Australian and the Japanese prime ministers.
Right, Malvika, now we also know that as far as US President Joe Biden is concerned, this is going to be his last, Quad summit as the President of the United States of America. It's an in-person Quad summit, and it's going to happen in his hometown. So it becomes very, very important. Before we get to the takeaways there, can you tell our viewers a little bit about, the kind of reception that's planned for the top leaders of three big economies of the world, and what can really be expected? I believe there's going to be an intimate dinner also, as far as these four leaders are concerned.
Yes, an intimate dinner has been planned for in the evening, and even right now, a very warm welcome is being extended by President Joe Biden to Prime Minister Modi, to the Australian Prime Minister, and to the Japanese Prime Minister. The reason being that this is the last Quad summit for Joe Biden, but there is an emphasis here that there is bipartisan support for the Quad nations, and Modi and the Prime Ministers of Australia and Japan are key players. So dinner has been lined up, bilateral meetings have been lined up, and all in all, a very warm welcome is being extended. You're hearing the siren of a healthcare vehicle. These are the patrolling services that are happening right before the Prime Minister arrives at the hotel here in Delaware.
Right. So, Malvika, I'm just requesting you to please stay on with us for a moment before we talk about the key takeaways that we can look forward to from the Quad Summit, the business part of it, and, strategically how important this Quad Summit is for the Indo-Pacific region. I want to quickly play out for our viewers some reactions that we have got from the members of the Indian diaspora who are waiting to welcome Prime Minister Narendra Modi in the US for this 3-day visit.
Modi, 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 एक ही नारा, एक ही नाम, जय श्री राम, जय श्री राम। हम पहले ही शुरुआत करते हैं। हम भारतवर्ष के राजस्थान जगह से रहने वाले हैं, और राजस्थान नगरी ऐसी है, राजस्थान जगह ऐसी है जहां मोदी का परचम छाया हुआ है पूरा। हम यहां आए हैं, मोदी जी का बहुत बहुत स्वागत करते हैं। बहुत सारी आशाएं हैं मोदी जी का, वैश्विक स्तर पे भारत में सब जगह उनका इतना नाम छाया हुआ है कि इन्होंने भारतवासियों का गर्व ऊंचा कर दिया है, सिर ऊंचा कर दिया है। हम कहते हैं कि दशकों में ऐसा प्रधानमंत्री नहीं आया होगा, और हम चाहते हैं कि ये प्रधानमंत्री जी अगले शतकों तक रहे, शतकों तक रहे, शतकों तक रहे।
मोदी, मोदी। कहाँ से आए हैं? हम लोग फिलाडेल्फिया से आए हैं, एंड वी केम फॉर द वेलकम मोदी, एंड वी आर वेरी एक्साइटेड to see him in near, just near around us.
I will say one thing, our Prime Minister Modi, he's a generational leader. You won't find that, and our Indian people need to understand that Modi is the best, and you won't find leader like this. If you want to take India as a superpower, we need to make sure Modi is there all the time.
We are from Delaware, and we are proud of to be Delaware, and we are very lucky that our Prime Minister of India, he is from Gujarat, and Biden, he is in Delaware. So we are getting both the President and Prime Minister from our state. So we are very lucky and fortunate today. So thank you very much.
All right, so those are the live visuals that we are now showing to our viewers. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has arrived. He's come out of the plane, and he's being welcomed by the members of the Indian community. And there you can see live shots coming in of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Let me go back to Malvika, who continues to be live with us on the latest that we are bringing for our viewers from the United States of America, even as we continue to be on these visuals of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, who's being welcomed. Malvika, now, of course, as you were telling us, in just a few moments from now, he will be arriving where you are, and, and then the business is going to begin, because he does not like to waste any moment. And we all know it's a packed itinerary for him. So, the first engagement is the Quad Summit, I guess. Tell us more now.
That's right. So the first engagement, I must emphasize, it is a very, very packed schedule that the Prime Minister has. He is for just a day in Delaware, and then he's heading to New York for 2 days continuously. He has engagements with different parts and sections of the society. But coming back to the Quad Summit, which is going to take place today in just a few hours, there is a growing influence of China. And the aggressive tendencies of China's continues. But at the same time, China is a very important trade partner for India. So what India is doing right now is a zone balancing act, so to speak, whereby partnering with the US, Japan, and Australia in the Indo-Pacific region, they are indicating to China that a powerful group is here, and a lot of maritime cooperation is going to take place. For the first time, a US Coast Guard vessel is going to be placed in the Indo-Pacific, and joint exercises are going to be taking place between India, US, Japan, and Australia. So a key summit to look out for to deter China, but the cooperation is not going to just stop as far as security issues are concerned. A moonshot related to cervical cancer prevention. An event is expected today on the sidelines of the Quad Summit. We are also likely to see an announcement related to disaster risk management, to cooling projects in India. So a lot of action and deliverables are expected at the end of this summit, because remember, it is also the last summit for the Japanese Prime Minister, who's also decided not to contest in the upcoming Japanese election. So it's Joe Biden and the Japanese Prime Minister, both of whom are participating in their last Quad Summit. The US, to emphasize that there is going to be a bipartisan support, because the country goes for elections at the end of the year in November. There is a Quad caucus that has been established at Capitol Hill to emphasize on the bipartisan support in the US for the Quad Summit.
Right, and you've mentioned the